You know, when I set out to write my book, 10 Bagger Blueprint, which became a #1 bestseller on Amazon, my goal was very simple. I wanted to put down on paper so investors could really understand the proven system I've developed for finding stocks that have the potential to increase 10x to 100x, right? It's taken me 25 years, and during this journey, it's really been a journey. Yeah, I've worked with thousands of public companies, helping promote their stock prices and create over $1 trillion of wealth for investors like you. Now, why am I standing behind this structure behind me, right? Eiffel Tower. It's really the same idea as the 10x to 100x, right? Look, this guy, he could have just as easily built a, I don't know, a 10-foot building, 20-foot building, 50 feet. Didn't have to be so impressive, right? And by the way, it's just almost as much work because, it's just a question of proportion and scale, right? It probably would have been just as much work to do a 10-story building as what we have here. But then again, if he did, we'd never be talking about it, right? We would never be talking about it because, what the 10x to 100x philosophy is, and it is an investment philosophy, is, it's just as easy, and it's actually probably less risky in a way to go for those stocks which have that potential to increase 10x to 100x. Instead of going for some, lame penny stock that doubles, where your goal is to double, maybe triple your money, why not go for that 10 bagger? And that's what Next Super Stock, that's what Wall Street Reporter's Next Super Stock program is all about, is to bring you those stocks at the ground floor. That's right, the ground floor. You get in at that ground floor, and you go all the way to the top when you become those 10x. Now, we haven't had a 100 bagger recently, although we've had a couple 100 baggers over the years that developed. We did have a 50 bagger last few years, increased 5,000% from a nickel to 250. And again, if you read the book, 10 Bagger Blueprint, let me see if I can take out a copy of the book. Let me see it, just to give you a taste. Should I take out a copy of the book? Let me see if I can get out of this bag here. This is gonna be here we go. Okay, here comes the book. I have it with me because I had to give it to a client, and here we are, my friends. 10 Bagger Blueprint, the proven system for finding those stocks which have that 10x to 100x upside potential. Again, look, if you're gonna invest, why not go for those 10 baggers? And again, if you read my book, 10 Bagger Blueprint, we have a proven system, okay, where we look for those asymmetric setups. So your risk is actually a lot lower than it is typically with a lot of these, micro cap stocks, right? Specifically, when we bring a company onto the Next Super Stock platform, I'm looking for a setup where the risk is, either the upside is maybe 25, 50 times greater than the downside. Okay, it's what I call an asymmetric setup, and that exists very rarely. It's hard to find. Okay, it depends on a company having a very cheap price. We like stocks that are very cheap. Okay, it's got to be a beaten down stock price, where the risk, it's been de-risked in a way. It might be trading below intrinsic value, below its peer group comps. Okay, for example, we have a couple of stocks right now that we're working with that are trading at 90% discount. That's right, 90% discount to what their peer group is at. It's all we got to do is basically wait for that value to moon, right? To moon. So that's the concept of what I call the built-in profit, the asymmetric setup. And then we look for multiple catalysts, but I go through a whole system. Okay, it's very easy. By the way, the book is $19.95. It's on Amazon. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family, quite frankly, to your country. Okay, man, I don't want to be that dramatic, but you really do owe it to yourself, because if you don't read this book, you're going to be like the average loser investor who loses money, the average bag holder. You know why? Because they don't know the rules to the game. They don't know the rules. How do you expect to win the game if you don't know the rules? Seriously, right? Check it out, 10 Bagger Blueprint on Amazon. Here's to your 100x, my friends.